To Europe now, where the big story has been the launch of the European Union's latest growth initiative, a combined €315 billion of funding aimed at getting them out of the quagmire. So how's it going? Well, I'm joined now from our London bureau by David Buik from Panmure Gordon. David, welcome over there.
Tiki, greetings to you.
Now, Herr Juncker, the European Commission President, his $315 million Euro New Deal, why has the reaction been so lukewarm?
Well, if you think about it, that I have never seen a more disjointed organisation politically that's got actually a brilliant president of its ECB in Mario Draghi. And there again, we're being asked, or member states are being asked to stump up 315 billion euros over a period of 5 years to sort of reflate the economy when there's not a slightest sign of proper growth returning. You've got the great bear of Russia hanging over them like a cumulonimbus cloud of despair, where clearly that's going to have a massive effect on Germany's economy. You've got the most powerful person in the European Union, in Angela Merkel, wholly against quantitative easing,
yes,
and wholly against debt.
And I gather this money is not new money either, is it?
No, it's not new money. It's existing money, and it's just going to mean extra debt. And then, as he declares goodbye, au revoir, sayonara, whatever you want from Herman Van Rompuy as he takes his leave, he turns around and says, oh, by the way, the budget deficit's a little worse than we thought by £259 billion. And you guys in the United Kingdom, could we have your cheque for £33.7 billion spread over 6 years? Not good news. And then he insults us by saying, oh, and by the way, if the United Kingdom lives Europe, so what? We'll live without it. If France does, it would be a disaster. You couldn't exactly say that statesman-like qualities are being involved in trying to get this magical system agreed. Truly awful, Tiki.
Oh, yes. Well, I gather even the Pope had something to say on Europe this week, which wasn't that complimentary.
Oh, I loved him. Oh, he was brilliant. He was just brilliant. Like an old grandmother, he said, haggard, out of ideas. What a magical guy. He was absolutely top class. And I think there were a lot of very red faces in the Parliament at Strasbourg. He didn't pull any punches. He was charm personified. Yeah. But there was a glint of steel in his eyes. Wonderful.
Good Catholicism. Now, Jean-Claude Juncker, of course, doesn't seem as popular as he once was. He's got caught up in all this global tax avoidance stuff, being a former Prime Minister of Luxembourg, when I gather, this is according to a Eurosceptic, 240 multinationals happen to enter aggressive tax avoidance schemes over there.
I think he was also Chancellor of the Exchequer, whatever the equivalent is in Luxembourg, so he'd something like a 12 to 15-year period of being deeply involved in the politics and the finances of Luxembourg. And as you know, it is a wonderful garage to put money in and out of without paying too much tax. Yeah. But he's absolutely unashamed by it, and he's not going to resign, and he's going to crack on.
David, this oil situation now at a 4-year low. We're just ahead of the OPEC meeting shortly. What's the market thinking about all this?
Well, the market is thinking that, slight disappointment, that meetings that took place between Russia, Mexico and OPEC 2 days ago seem to have found no key to the kingdom. And it strikes me that Saudi Arabia is a little bit ahead of the curve, because I think they've got their stuff out at the higher prices earlier in the years in truckloads. And I think this is all a political game of soldiers. And so I don't think they're particularly keen to turn the taps off. And I think they want to make the likes of Iran and Iraq squeeze a little bit. And also those people who are saying fracking and shale is the way forward, that is now beginning to look expensive. So I think this is a political game. Tiki, I don't think it's all over. And they may just do something about the quotas today. But at the end of the day, I'd be pretty certain if you and I have a conversation in March or April of next year, I reckon that oil will be nearer $90 than it will be where it is now, despite the fact that they're not going to tighten up. I think the geopolitical problems are that tough.
And briefly, over in the US, the S&P 500, 12 fresh record highs in the last 18 trading days so far in November. We're going to get a rally all the way to Christmas?
Well, I think it looks gung-ho, fixed bayonet and over the top, doesn't it? It looks absolutely wonderful. The data, frankly, though, is a little bit mixed. And I think Black Friday tells us quite a lot. We saw reasonable consumer confidence figures, but post-Thanksgiving today, it's the biggest shopping day of the year tomorrow. And remember that retail, you don't have to remember, as you know, but retail contributes 70% to GDP. So we really are expecting them to flock down to the malls and give it plenty, and if not, on the internet.
A very good ending. David Buik, thank you very much for all that.
Great pleasure.